this is the session about where we are going to talk about breaking the barriers in industrial automation through next generation technologies, through next generation automation, right? So with us, we are having the managing director, Mr. Vivek Verma. He heads spray engineering. He is a process OEM for various industries into sugar, into paper, and they have proven themselves into the world of sustainability. So they are supporting the India on the mission of sustainability through very innovative solutions, the next gen solutions that they are using, from mechanical to electrical to automation. So a huge round of applause for him, a warm welcome to him. Then we have with us Barbara. So Barbara is the Executive Vice President, Schneider Electric for Industrial Automation globally. So she heads the industrial automation business for us. And she has been very, very passionate for automation throughout her career. And she is going to talk about what is the next when we talk about the transition from Industrial 4.0 to Industrial 5.0. Then we have Arvind Kakru. He is Vice President, Industrial Automation, Greater India Zone. Again, with a huge experience coming from the process industries and into automation field. He is going to share with us his perspective, the transition in India, how the automation industry is transitioning in India, how the youngest population in India is looking at automation and is changing the world landscape in the automation. With that, I would start this thought leadership theater with the first question to you, Mr. Vivek. So you have proved yourself into the world in India, also in abroad, with a lot of process designs into sugar, into paper kind of industries. Last 3-4 years, you have been able to give this world a very sustainable solutions, right? Now, one thing, you are using the automation. You are implementing the automation at your customers, right? So when we talk about industries like paper, industries like sugar, the adoption of industrial automation itself was a challenge few years back. So now, with all your interventions, there is a lot of adoption that has taken place, but that is with the erstwhile automation that we used to have. Do you really see that the automation alone has hit the ceiling already, and there is something different which your customers are expecting even from you to bring in terms of give them much more flexibility and agility?
See, the automation I consider as, you can say, it is a liberation of the shop floor workers and the people involved in the plant operation from the routine job of maintaining the performance and trying to running it. Instead of doing that, they can start thinking critically that how the process can be improved, how the production, the cost cutting can happen. If they are just about doing the repetition work of just about delivering things repeatedly, there will be no improvement. So when I started my profession 30 years back, there was no computer in the plants. And gradually in the early 90s, we had the computers, we had these automation start coming. It helped us to collect the information and start planning things better. And as the journey went ahead, almost every part of the plant became automated. And now the data is in front of us. Now the next few years, we will be also using the AI to do better planning, to better control, better presentation of the information of what is happening inside the plant, and the people will be almost everyone. Earlier, it was automation people who were doing the automation, but the mechanical people, the process people, or the maintenance people, they were not part of the automation. Now, everyone is going to be in the same platform. They will all collaborate and they will get everything what they want, and probably they will now with the more easier protocols, they are able to program and they are able to create lot of dashboards and the information systems so that their lives becomes better and they are able to see the critical things in front of them, and they are able to control the productivity and the profit, not just trying to run it.
Well, so thanks, Mr. Verma. You shared the whole journey, right? That how we moved from the era of no automation to the era of automation, which is simple, not only with not only for the automation learned people, but also for the people who are coming from a different background, like mechanical or electrical, and so on and so forth. So with that, I'll come to you, Arvind. So similar to Mr. Verma, you have been working with industrial automation for last couple of decades now, and you have been very successful in giving automation solutions since the intervention of automation in India, more into the segments where organizations like Schneider Electric are very strong, for example, in water, wastewater, cement, and all. So are you also seeing the similar trends, what Mr. Verma is talking about? Another thing to you is to understand from you, he touched upon a point where he talked about workforce adapting automation, right? And today, the intervention, the new workforce that is coming in is more IT-centric. We see today's kids who are more towards IT platform than from the old automation platforms and all. So are you seeing these trends coming into the industries where Schneider Electric play?
Sure, I think very good question. Contextually overall, I will address your last part first. From the evolution of automation industry, I think a lot of things have happened, and I'll talk about a few, that come immediately to mind. We didn't think of skills as a big factor, even a few years back, but now with Indian market evolving, a lot of opportunities getting thrown up, a lot of new industries coming up. We visited, for example, electronic semiconductor did not exist, green hydrogen did not exist. So there's a lot of lack of skills. That is one piece, which is like how people are more adopting to that new technology and utilizing some of the technology available now. But how do you, that is with the younger population you talked about. With the older population, they have the mindset, they have the domain expertise, but how do you make them kind of transition to that? So it's a mix of skilling and reskilling from a behavior point of view. But from industry's standpoint, a lot of things have also evolved. We see more digital technologies in play. We see more cyber security in play. Even now, control systems are supposed to be very secure. There's a lot of disruption, for example, possibilities in infrastructure segment typically, which is more on a nationwide scale. But on the industries also, there are a lot of ransom, demands coming up, a lot of systems getting hacked. So you want your industrial systems to be very, very, very secure. Other than that, I think the IT world and the OT world used to be two different disparate systems. But now there's a lot of convergence happening on the IT and OT side. And there are people who from IT world are converging more towards the OT side, and people from OT side who are upgrading their skills, to go on the IT side. And they used to be operating in silos, but now there's a lot of discussions I see with the customers happening where they try to mix both and utilize the benefits of the both technologies. One more point I can bring up is now most of the systems automation systems have been proprietary systems, with their own protocols, with their own networks and everything defined. Good at some point of time, but in a larger interconnected world, there's a lot of emphasis on connected products going to a connected plant level to going to a connected enterprise level. And a lot of systems are interconnected, and you see a lot of those interconnections happening. So now a lot of customers, especially where you have a lot of mix of OEMs coming. Automotive could be a good example. Your electronic manufacturing could be a good example. A lot of OEMs coming from different parts of the world with different control systems. How do you connect all of those, and how do you make the users free from dependence on the OEMs? And a lot of them are very proprietary systems. Not all of them are standard industry-defined protocols, etc. So that is what we call software-defined automation. So a new shift is taking place to that extent in the new world in that sense.
All right, so thank you. Thanks, Arvind. I think very well talked about how things are changing, and your observation is absolutely right. Probably this is the same thing what Mr. Verma was also talking about. So with that, Barbara, I will come to you, because there are a lot of points which both of them have touched upon, and so I will, if I may summarize what they both were saying, is that it's very clear that being agile, flexible, and open is the new mantra in industrial automation world, right? So, and with that, Schneider Electric is very much vocal about talking about software-defined, open automation. So, can you let us know, right? You have been working across the globe with all countries. Can you please let us know how this is changing the landscape in industrial automation world?
I think let's start a bit with the history. So we started this journey in 2019 in Schneider Electric, where we started the Automation Expert Project. And this was mainly driven by the request of customers coming from the process industries, mainly oil and gas, but we also had customers like Nestlé who said, hey, we have so many systems in our manufacturing environment, and we have a lot of problems whenever we want to use new features which are coming from the IT world to really upgrade them. And we want to get to an approach where the software life cycle is detached from the hardware life cycle. And this demand came clearly from the C-level of those customers, and we started to work on it. Through the journey that we now go in the last 6 years, we learned there are different maturity levels of customers. So you see customers specifically in logistics and recycling, or specifically also process industries, which are very open to that approach because they have the biggest pain points to one extent. But they also have already more a software mindset, or they start on a white sheet of paper. But then you go to some end users around the world, they have a very strong automation team. And this automation team wants to stay in the old world. And usually you have then a bit the dilemma inside the customer that you have an IT department, you have a CDO, and you have the automation department, which usually is with the operations part, who are almost fighting against each other. And it's our role then to help to build the bridges between those two teams and really show on both sides what we can do together by going towards software-defined open automation. And it also has to do, of course, a lot with the maturity that we can provide through the product. And it gets more and more mature, like the high availability, which is a super important feature for process automation. And with this, step by step, we get the adoption into the market. And we have seen a big acceleration in 2024. And we want to accelerate more in 2025 because it clearly brings a value to the customer. And customers today want to have a different approach, how they look into their factory. So 80% of all data that is created in a factory comes from the automation layer. And by having Papaya system, as you just outlined, you don't get this data automatically into the IT level. And for this, open software-defined automation is a key enabler.
Wow. So that I think so you have defined the mantra again, right? So software-defined open automation is the future. But then again, there was one point which I would want to understand from you is about artificial intelligence, which Mr. Verma talked about, right? So how do you think Schneider Electric is contributing to make or to bring artificial intelligence into their systems and processes?
On one hand, we already brought it since more than 18 years to the customers. As you might know, our AVEVA solutions, like advanced process control, whether it's machine learning, part of it, we already brought to the market 18 years ago. So there is already a kind of track record what you can do with artificial intelligence. Now with generative artificial intelligence, we want to bring even more. And of course, one use case is to reduce dramatically the engineering costs. And this is what we now try to get. And you see showcases here how you can really create an automation model with the help of generative AI, but we are just at the beginning. You're just at the beginning. And then on the other hand, of course, when you get a lot of data, you can also optimize with real-time data. So that's one of the next steps where we are also going into, and we hope to launch projects or products within this year and next year, enriched and more value for the customer through artificial intelligence.
Well, thank you. Wow, that's I think a very insightful messages and from you, Barbara. And I think 18 years of experience into artificial intelligence, and we are still saying that we are moving and discovering from here. So that's the reason why Schneider Electric is known as the trendsetter. And it's very clear when I was talking to you, to three of you, that automation industry is now going with a step change, where they are no more talking about the proprietary of anybody, but they are talking about the open world, which is interoperable, right? So that's a very clear message that the word forward in an automation industry is going to be more and more open, interoperable, and connected. With that, I would really like to thank three of you for being here and let us all know about the key trends and how next generation automation is really helping us to grow better, faster, and bolder. Thank you so much.
Thank you.